What is up, fellow diabetic warriors? Today we're going to be giving the phrase work smarter, not harder, an entirely new meaning as we look at the three types of T1D work that you're probably doing and which one you can focus on in order to make diabetes a little bit easier. With that being said, let's jump into our theme song.
I've spent the last 10 years pushing the limits while identifying trends and patterns in my type 1 diabetes management. Follow along as I learn, apply, and share the fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle strategies that I've learned from diabetes experts around the world. The real question is, how can we live fearlessly with diabetes while maintaining stable blood sugars? This podcast is here to give you the answer. My name is Matt Vandevecht, head coach and co-founder of FTF Warrior, and welcome to Pardon My Pancreas.
So growing up, my parents, both my mom and my dad, had this great phrase that you've probably heard before, and if not, let me be the first to introduce you to it. Work smarter, not harder. Now, you may have heard this in a previous episode. I told the story about how, just clipping up the lawn and doing yard work, and I used to walk across the driveway to throw stuff in the trash can, then walk back to my work, and my dad was like, "Matt, what are you doing? Just bring the trash can to where you're working so you can pick it up, throw it away, pick it up, throw it away." None of this walking back and forth stuff. And I was like, oh, that's the work smarter, not harder thing. I get it now, right? And it took me a while to fully understand that. But I wish I had fully grasped that concept and applied it to all areas of my life and not just yard work. So today I want to share a quick story, actually give you kind of an inside look into the business and how I started this diabetes world and started this world of diabetes business and how that applies to your blood sugar specifically. So we're going to use kind of a metaphor example in this one. So years ago, when we first started this whole business, FTF Warrior, I will tell you that I worked stupidly, just to put it frankly. So I did not know what I was doing. I'm going to lay it all out. I had no idea what starting a business looked like and being an entrepreneur and no idea. And this entire idea of building a business, I thought you just post blogs and then hope people come and they'll find you and you get to help them. And I was like, yes, I love this idea of just helping people with this knowledge that I've gained, right? With fitness and nutrition and diabetes. And I was like, I want to help, and this is how you do it. So we made a website, and throughout that process, I'm trying to figure out why am I not able to help people? Where's the audience? You build it and they come, right? Nobody was coming. Nobody was showing up at our front door saying, "Hey, I'm here for your help." And I was flabbergasted. I was like, how the heck are you supposed to do this? And I mean, maybe like myself, you're probably familiar with the whole diabetes when you're first diagnosed. It feels like it's a lot of guesswork. There's just this huge realm of, I don't know what to do, and my doctor's not quite helping me, and my medical team is either non-existent or not really available. And so it leads into this what's called the SWAG method. If you've ever heard that before. SWAG, SWAG, stands for scientific wild A guessing, right? And A stands for but. You gotta keep this family friendly. But basically it's a huge guessing game. You're guessing how many carbs, guessing how much insulin to give, guessing about how to live your life as a diabetic. And you're just trying to figure it out. And you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I think I just give myself insulin and eat, and then hopefully it works out, right? Wildly unaware of the complexities of type 1 diabetes. And like me with the business, I was completely unaware of the amount of work that goes into building a business and trying to figure out how to market yourself and, create video accounts and membership areas and websites and all this crazy stuff. I had no idea. And it led into this overwhelm, right? And so probably with diabetes, you're also familiar with this concept of overwhelm and not knowing why blood sugars are doing what they're doing. Right? You dose for your meal, you tried to count your carbs best as you could, blood sugar goes through the roof. Next day, you eat the exact same meal, dose the same, blood sugars drop through the floor. You're like, what did I do wrong, right? And it's this huge guessing game. And in this world of today's episode, the three different types of work that you're doing, that's the first type. It's guesswork, right? You're guessing and you're hoping for the best outcome. So guesswork being the first type of work, obviously not where we want to stay, right? Guesswork is not going to guarantee you outcomes, it's not going to give you certainty, and in most cases, it's not going to move you towards your end result or your goals. So, as the years go on, in my business world of diabetes, I start to gain some traction, start figuring out it's gonna take a lot of hard work to figure this thing out, right? I start researching about HTML and how to code a website and, how to write the right type of blog so that I can get the SEO and show up in Google searches. I figure out like how to make videos and like, oh, that's important too, right? And I'm getting distracted by all these different aspects of running a business. And you're like, how do you coach people but also bring in new people, and how do you make sure you're writing the right blogs? And it's just this huge pile of, well, I don't know which one to do first or which one to focus on, where to prioritize my energy and my time. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in the second phase. And like diabetes as well, you realize that there are rules to the game. You realize that there is an insulin to carb ratio probably. You know that there's a basal insulin amount. You might not know which amount is yours. And there's this unfortunate path that a lot of diabetics take, which is the path of restriction. And so you might be familiar with this. Those who think that you have to eat low carb or keto or vegan, I think they're like very restrictive diets that you have to follow. Or maybe it's restriction from family events. Maybe it's restriction from sports and you feel unsafe stepping into the gym or going to play soccer or basketball. Maybe it's restriction from traveling or lifestyle. And we box ourselves in of like, okay, as long as I restrict myself and document everything and work really hard to get this blood sugar to cooperate, I'll be able to live my life in this tiny little bubble and I can survive just long enough to see the end of my life, right? And so, within the business, I was working my butt off. I was working 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. almost every single day. I didn't take a single day off for a couple years. And I was just, wheels were spinning in the mud. I wasn't going anywhere, but I felt like I was running really fast because I was trying to work and do everything all at once. And within diabetes, it can feel like that as well. And so this second phase, this second type of work is hard work, where you're starting to build some momentum. You understand it's going to take work, right? You're not just throwing caution to the wind and bolusing wildly, hoping it's the correct amount of insulin for the carbs that you're eating, but it's also stressful. It can get overwhelming in and of itself as well. You realize that if you want to see progress, you need to measure your blood sugars and actually test your blood sugars. That was a big lesson for me. Documenting blood sugars, trying to find trends and patterns, and initially before CGMs, that was a huge part of it. Was like I have to write down my blood sugar numbers and in my logbook and try to find patterns and actually count the carbs, and I have to try to figure out which diet is the best for me, which types of exercise, and you're trying to research and you're going through everything online. Google tells you that it's not just diabetes, but you're also going to die next week because Google is scary. We don't want to trust that. The dark corners of the internet, we don't know fully what's going on with the diabetes advice in those dark corners of the web. But within this understanding, we find ourselves honestly and oftentimes finding conflicting information, right? You've probably heard that low carb is the best. You've probably also heard that keto is the best. You've probably also heard that vegan is the best, or paleo, or pescatarian, or eat whatever you want as long as it fits in your macros. Like give insulin and you can eat whatever you want. Like there's a lot of different stuff out there that says it's the one and only way. And so you do your hard work of researching and experimenting and trying new things, and it gets exhausting because hard work is exactly that. You're spinning your wheels in the mud, not really going anywhere. You tried the low carb, it kind of worked, but not really. Now let's try keto. It kind of worked, but I miss my favorite foods. Well, let's try vegan. Maybe that one's going to work. And well, now I really miss my favorite foods, and it worked, but not the way I hoped it would. And you get lost in this over analysis. It's frustrating. Right? And so in this hard work phase, it's important that we are looking for new information. We're researching, we're joining Facebook groups and Instagram influencers in the diabetes world and trying to find new stuff on YouTube about how to dose for pizza and trying to find the answers. But that hard work inevitably leads us to burnout and overwhelm and exhaustion because you can only work so hard for so long. And I can tell you from the business perspective again, right? I worked, like I said, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. for every day for years. And let me tell you, that is a sure recipe for burnout and exhaustion and not enjoying what you do. And so ultimately, we look at the first guesswork, not sustainable, not even helpful, really. The hard work, not sustainable, but kind of helpful, right? We're starting to make progress, learning about different diets. It's going to take a lot of time, effort, and money, but we're going to figure it out eventually, right? At least that's what we hope. But then we get into the third phase. And so for me, with my business, this looked like hiring mentors and coaches and joining other programs of people telling me, here's how you make an actual video and upload it to the internet and get people to see it. Here's how you coach your students and give them the best possible outcomes and results within your diabetes coaching programs. Here's how you build a proper website that actually works, right? And these mentors and coaches, I mean, let me tell you guys, over the years, have invested thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into these mentors and coaches. And the first couple were really scary, right? To invest a lot of money into something that I didn't quite know if it was going to work. I didn't know if it was the right fit for me. And ultimately, looking back at those investments saved me years, if not decades of time, and saved me tons of money of what I would have had to spend, trying to experiment and figure things out on my own, and realizing that hiring mentors and coaches and trainers in many areas of my life have saved me. They've skyrocketed my results and pushed me into the future, right? And, of course, now I hire probably between 1 and 5 coaches, trainers, or mentors every year. And there's different aspects of life, like physical, body, mental health, business health, obviously, mindset, relational, there's lots of different reasons to hire a coach for anyone. And I highly recommend it. It will save you time, it will get you better results, and as long as they know what they're doing and they are trustworthy, you will find that it's the best decision you could possibly make. And so within that realm, it skyrocketed my ability to help other people. And these coaches would teach me, hey, here's how you teach your people. Here's how you leverage and increase their results and push them out to become their best selves and all this amazing stuff. And so as you relate that to diabetes, right, you have the different aspects of there's low carb and keto and vegan, and there's aerobic and anaerobic exercise, and you need to do training a specific way to get your blood sugars to cooperate. There are a lot of different options out there, but you gotta find the right ones, and then you gotta run with it, right? So just like within, let's say, what's a good example for this? Within fitness, you could train to be the strongest, you could train to be the fastest, you could train to be the leanest. There's a lot of different variations of goals, right? But within diabetes, for most people, there's one goal. At least if you're following me, this is probably the track that you're on. And that's improving time and range while improving your quality of life. Those two things, those are the most important. Because most people think they have to choose one or the other. You can have great blood sugars, but you gotta restrict yourself and not have any fun and not eat the good foods. Or you can live your best darn life, but forget about the blood sugars. If you want to travel and play sports and eat the great foods, just assume they're gonna be terrible blood sugars, right? Wrong. So wrong. And that's how I used to think too. So, I'm not blaming you for thinking that way because no one's told you differently, but you can improve time and range while improving your quality of life. But it comes down to this third type of work. I mentioned coaches and trainers and programs, all this other stuff for business that helped me a lot in that realm and in other realms of personal development as well. So within diabetes, we have a few different options as well, right? I mentioned with business, the coaches, the trainers, the programs, you have the same options. And if you've been following me for a while, you know this is what I do, right? This is the entirety of the business is that I help people with diabetes to improve time and range and improve quality of life. It's the best part of my life. And within this whole realm of the 3 different types of work, we get into the third type, really the best type, which is frameworks. Now, I know this is kind of throwing you off, right? The first one's guesswork, and then hard work, and then framework. That's not a type of work, right? Exactly. You're not working hard. You're using somebody else's framework in order to achieve the results that you're after. So for me, it was going and hiring business coaches that already helped a lot of people and showed people how to help more people. And I was like, cool, just show me how to help a ton of type 1 diabetics, and we'll call it good. And so I paid them a bunch of money. They taught me how to help people at a bigger scale, and now that's what I do. And I can tell you it saved me probably a decade of trial and error and ruining things. And they just told me, hey, do this one thing, that's your answer. Ta-da! It was amazing. And so similarly with diabetes, Yes, you can go out and do all the hard work and spin your tires in the mud. Try out keto, try out low carb, try out vegan. You can go try running a marathon. You can try being a power lifter and seeing how all these different variables affect blood sugars. Or you can study a framework. Find someone who's already done all of that and then just hire them to give you the answers, right? And of course, these answers, like the business coaching for me, has to be customized. You know, they can't just say, hey, this is the one answer for all businesses in the entire world. Here you go, because my business is quite unique, honestly. I help type 1 diabetics to improve time and range and increase quality of life. That's pretty unique. And so similarly within diabetes, we're all a little bit different, right? We have different insulin to carb ratios. We have different basal rates. We have different lifestyles that we follow. We have different favorite foods and food sensitivities. And so as a result, the frameworks have to be tweaked. They have to be customized. And so as we look into the frameworks that you're using, they need to be followed alongside a coach. And that's the entirety of the formula for freedom, the formula for success, right? Find the frameworks so that you can save time, effort, and money and just jump straight to the results. The fastest path to your success. You know, we have clients come in and they've told me that they've been trying this diabetes thing for 40 or 50 years. 40 or 50 years, 5 decades of trial and error, not understanding the pieces that fit into the puzzle, and not for lack of trying. They've been trying their hardest. They've been researching, seeking out their doctor's help, and nothing has given them the results. They come to us, and 8 weeks later, because of our frameworks, they're able to go from 0 to hero. They're able to achieve their goals. The thing that they've been spent a majority of their life trying to figure out because they selected the proper type of work. It all boils down to frameworks. Frameworks is the key that the most successful people in the world use to fast track their success. No matter what type of success you're after, whether it's blood sugars or business or marital or family-based or physical fitness, there are frameworks you need to follow that will speed up your success and just exponentially give you these incredible results that just don't compare anywhere else. This exponential growth that happens when you have the right frameworks alongside the right guidance. So, to recap, the 3 different types of work that you see in all aspects of life, but as you saw today in business and then of course in diabetes, we have guesswork. In diabetes, that's the swag method, which means you're just guessing at everything and hoping it works. Second, after guesswork, is your hard work. Okay, I did this for 2+ years, where every single day I researched something new, I'd try it out. I tried the low carb, I tried vegan, I tried variations of keto and high carb and low carb and paleo, and I'm trying to think, I tried pretty much every diet out there, tried different types of exercises. I did the hard work of writing down every single blood sugar that I saw, staring at my CGM obsessively. It was not healthy, it was not fun, it was one of the most frustrating experiences of my life, but for me it was enlightening and led to me developing the framework that I teach my clients now. So yes, you can do the hard work, you can spin your wheels in mud for years and years and years, and likely you're not going to do what I did and quit my job to figure out blood sugars and study it every day, day and night, obsessing over it. So it's probably going to take you closer to 5 to 10 years, right, of obsessive work. But if you want to skip over the guesswork, skip over the hard work and go straight to the framework to get the results, that's where we come in. And that's where they have these opportunities to go to the top, to hire the right people, to expedite your results, right? I went to people who had business figured out so they could help me figure it out. I was sick of spinning my tires in the mud. I was sick of waiting. I was sick of all the hard work that goes into it and the frustration, exhaustion, and overwhelm. So I hired the best, and I said, hey, can you teach me how to be the best? And they said, yes, we can. Here's the simple framework, your path to success. And that's what we do. At a simplified level, of course. It's customized and a lot more goes into it, but we take people in who are sick of guessing, sick of the hard work, the frustration, the erratic blood sugars. We give them our simple framework, step by step, and say, just follow these steps, you're gonna have your results. Increase time and range, increase quality of life. Okay, that is what we're after. That is the entirety of what I do, simplified. And that's what I want to help you do. If you're here today and you are frustrated with blood sugars, if you go high or low and don't know why, If you're sick of living in a restricted lifestyle, where you feel like you can't have carbs, or you can't have fats, or you can't have proteins, you can't eat your favorite foods, you can't go out with family members, maybe you feel like you're restricted from physical activity, like you can't work out without blood sugars going all over the place. Maybe you just want to travel. Maybe that's a scary thing for you. Hop on a flight and go into a foreign country, not knowing how blood sugars might respond. If you're frustrated with your blood sugars and you are fed up with dealing with that, then let us help you. Hire the best. Let us come in, show you the simple frameworks, and get you to those results. Get you to a place where you are able to thrive with diabetes and not just survive. All right? So, quick thing. If you have not seen it yet, or if you have, you can go watch it again. There is a training that I put together that goes over pieces of our framework. You can get kind of a sneak peek into how I coach, how I teach, what we talk about. Basal, bolus, correction, physical activity, foods. You can get a piece of that, see what it looks like to work with us, and get some free takeaways. It's all our free training over at diabetesinaction.com. And that's because I believe you should be able to live with diabetes in action, not stuck on the couch living in fear. All right, so if you're frustrated with blood sugars, go to diabetesinaction.com right now. Watch that really quick training, grab some notes, and if you like what you see, you can apply to work with us, and we'll give you that framework, take you to your road to success. And I can't wait to work on that journey with you. All right, have an amazing day. Go to diabetesinaction.com and keep up the fight.